What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. A couple of minutes ago, some really weird news that kind of came out that I wasn't expecting necessarily to come out, well, again, this late for me, because I live in Australia, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty early for you guys who live in the United States. But nevertheless, some very, very exciting news for the New York Knicks, with it currently being reported that Julius Randle has agreed to a 4-year deal with the New York Knicks, and this is all being reported by Woj. And in my opinion, the contract is actually a very, very cheap contract. Basically, Julius Randle has agreed to a 4-year deal that will be $117 million, which, in my opinion, is a pretty good deal. That's about $30 million, of course, a year, or, well, not quite. It's about, $29 million or so. But I think this is actually a really good deal, and in my opinion, the New York Knicks have had, they've had some weird moves. Like, in my opinion, their draft was a little bit weird. I wasn't necessarily too fond of their draft. I know a lot of New York Knicks fans had some different opinions on it. Some really liked it. Of course, some didn't like the fact that they took Keon Johnson and for some reason decided to trade him. Again, I think they decided to trade him for that future first because they already had a pretty solid young core. Keon Johnson would have just been another addition to it. But of course, they already like Nerlens Noel, Mitch Robinson, Obi Toppin, etc. I guess there just really wasn't a spot for Keon Johnson on this team. But again, even trading Keon Johnson away was a little bit weird by the New York Knicks. Just some weird stuff. I think if they kept, Keon Johnson at pick 21, didn't trade him for, I believe it was Quentin Grimes in a second, I think that would have been a much better pick for them. Of course, they ended up trading Keon Johnson to the LA Clippers, which I find to be a very, very weird thing in my opinion. I'm not too sure still why they did that. I guess we'll have to see how Quentin Grimes goes. But other than that, they have had a really, really good, free agency so far. Like, Evan Fournier was a very good deal in my opinion. I guess Reggie Bullock was like, I guess you'd probably way rather Evan Fournier than Reggie Bullock in my opinion. But then they were able to bring back Derrick Rose, who will be a great player for them, of course, coming off the bench. But I think the main signing was they were actually able to, of course, organize a buyout with the Oklahoma City Thunder and ended up actually signing Kemba Walker to a deal which I believe is like a very, very cheap deal. So, practically, they will now go into next year with where they had Elfrid Payton starting most of the year. You replace Elfrid Payton with Kemba Walker, who is, of course, Kemba Walker is a much better player. I think he'll be a very, very nice addition to the team. I can't remember if it was a 1 or a 2 year. I'm assuming the 1 year because they, of course, got him like on very cheap. If it's 2 years, oh my goodness, that is an absolute steal. But I guess, he's been paid quite a lot of money. So I guess he's probably just honestly wanting to play. And he's, back home in New York, there was a report he wanted to go play there before he, got signed with the Celtics rather. Kemba Walker did, so we know, of course, most of that. But you look at Evan Fournier as well. In my opinion, he's an upgrade over Reggie Bullock. Of course, he's a way better shooter. Not better defensively, but I still think he'll fit in this team very well. And now you sign Julius Randle. You bring back players like Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel, who were on very good deals. $10 million per season for them is great in my opinion. Because, look, they might be tiny overpays, but it doesn't matter because they're tradable contracts. And again, both of those players could eventually get traded, down the road for an all-star like Damian Lillard maybe. Or I guess now that you kind of have your set team, Kemba Walker, very good player. I think, RJ Barrett will develop into a very good player as well. Julius Randle, Evan Fournier is still good, but I think you're looking at getting a elite small forward and elite center. Of course, at the time of making this video, Kawhi Leonard is still available. And then, Karl Anthony Towns, I think, will be up for trade most likely very soon. Now, I believe because of the current contract situation he has, I believe he has about $140 million now guaranteed. So that is very, very good, in my opinion. So, this dude's on a lot of money pretty much. which is very, very good for him. And I think very, very good for the New York Knicks, because it's not like 30 million a season or whatever, or 29, whatever the actual number is. It's not like that's an overpaid deal. Look, I know he didn't play well in the playoffs, but honestly, if you get a dude that, look, he might not play well in the playoffs in the future. I don't know if his game necessarily really works terrifically in the playoffs, but he'll always be there for you in the regular season. Like, he was outstanding for them in the regular season. He'll always improve. I doubt he'll have that bad of a playoffs again. He'll get much better, and especially now that he won't have to be the main guy 24/7. Like, Kemba Walker will definitely take the shot creating abilities off him. You know, give him some time to relax for a little bit in those games in the playoffs. And of course, RJ Barrett as well will obviously develop more and more as the time goes. And I'm sure they'll eventually be trading for an elite small forward or center here and there. So it's definitely going to be really interesting to, of course, see how they all go about this. But yeah, Julius Randle officially signs with the New York Knicks, and if you haven't heard about the Kemba Walker situation as well, Kemba Walker officially signed with the New York Knicks as well, so again, very recently. Of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA news and NBA content. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlog channels if you haven't already, which I will all be linking in the description down below. But as I was saying, don't forget, check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. And of course, don't forget, just comment your thoughts and opinions on this. Julius Randle signing a big deal, like a near max contract pretty much. What are you guys' thoughts and opinions on that? Of course, let me all know down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.